Hello again. In this video lecture, I discuss the procedural detail involved in performing the limit test of iron. So, in my earlier video also, I discussed the various limit tests, their principles, as well as involved procedure. However, here in this video lecture, I will restrict the content only to the procedural detail which is involved in the limit test of iron. So, as we have done earlier in case of limit test for various other chemicals, likewise here also we have to very first use the specific apparatus or the glassware which is used to perform the limit test, that is the Nessler's cylinder, and we have to prepare simultaneously the two solutions and labeled each one as the test solution and the standard solution. So which we also done earlier also in case of limit test for chloride as well as in case of limit test for sulfate. So here, in order to perform the limit test for iron, we have to take the test solution and we have to simultaneously prepare a standard solution in the limit test of iron, and accordingly we have to compare our test solution with that of standard in order to determine the extent or the degree of iron present as an impurity in the test solution, and how ultimately we are able to determine whether the iron which is present in the test solution is beyond the limit or it is within a limit. This can be determined by comparing the color, that is the pink color produced by the test solution with that of standard solution, because the color produced by the standard solution is having the color which is in a direct proportionate or which is in a direct correlation with the quantity of iron so present. So let us we will look into how we prepare the test solution here for or in order to perform the limit test of iron. So very first we have to take a sample, and that sample has to be prepared as per the procedure given in the monograph. So whatever the sample which is exposed for the limit test of iron, that particular sample must be prepared in order to perform the limit test, and its preparation, its pre-procedural preparation should be done accordingly, as well as its procedure or its preparation procedure must be done accordingly as per the monograph. Anyhow, if before the procedure or before preparation of the sample, if a sample needs any pre-treatment accordingly, so that particular pre-treatment of the sample has to be done, and that pre-treated sample according to the need is then be prepared accordingly in order to perform the limit test of iron. So the very first step in the limit test of iron is to prepare the sample as per the procedure given in the monograph. So that particular procedure may vary according to the sample or according to the according to the nature of the sample. However, in a general procedure, a particular quantity of sample has to be dissolved in a definite quantity of water or the appropriate solvent, whichever is mentioned in the monograph, and accordingly the sample has to be prepared, and the sample which is prepared is then be transferred into the Nessler cylinder. So a definite quantity of sample which was measured and it was dissolved in a particular solvent, I will for this particular purpose, that solvent can be water or as any other solvent which is ultimately be mentioned in the monograph. That particular solvent, the sample must be dissolved, and then that particular sample has to be transferred in the Nessler cylinder. So once the sample is transferred, or the prepared sample is once the transfer into the Nessler cylinder, the second step is to add so in step 2 we have to add the 40 ml of the distilled water to the Nessler cylinder. And once the 40 ml of distilled water is get added up, the next step is to add the 2 ml of 20% iron free citric acid. So this is the third step which we have to follow for preparing the test solution for the limit test of iron. In the third step we have to add 2 ml of 20% iron free citric acid. So what is this iron free citric acid here means? The iron free citric acid here means that whatever the citric acid is used for the limit test of iron, that citric acid must be free from iron. And if any case, or if however, if iron is present in the citric acid, that particular iron is also be responsible for the final color which will be obtained at the last of this particular test. So once the citric acid itself contains iron, or if the iron is also present in the citric acid other than the sample, then whatever the result we will obtain, it is not correct. We will get an error in our outcome, or we will get an error in our result. So it is very necessary that whatever the reagents we are using, we must use all these reagents which are ultimately be free from the iron, because if these reagents are itself other than the sample, if any other reagent contains an iron itself in their mixture or itself in them, then these iron will ultimately be responsible for the production of the color, which anyhow will interfere with the final result. So after adding the citric acid, that is the 2 ml 20%, the 2 ml is the quantity and the 20% is the strength of the citric acid. So here I have mentioned that we have to add the 2 ml 20% iron free citric acid. So here the 2 ml is the quantity and the 20% is the strength of the citric acid which has to be used in the step 3 for performing the limit test of iron. So once we are done with the step 3, we have to very carefully add 2 drops of thioglycolic acid. Now it is thioglycolic acid having some sort of irritating smell also. So it is it is also recommended that the person who are involved in handling this thioglycolic acid must wear a proper mask, as well as is having must be cover his body as well as the hand, as this particular acid is a problematic one. So it is while transferring this acid, that is the thioglycolic acid, only 2 drops are transferred, and it must be done with an utmost care. So once the thioglycolic acid is added, the next step is to add the ammonia solution to make the content alkaline. So we have to, how this particular thing will be done. While adding the ammonia solution, this ammonia is also having a very irritating smell. So this ammonia has to be handled very carefully, and it must be added to the sample in such a way that, or the quantity of the ammonia which must be added to the sample in such a way that we have to obtain an alkaline solution. And why the solution has to be converted into the alkaline form? This is because after adding the thioglycolic acid, the pH of solution get increased. So, I'm sorry, not increased, it is decreased. It is towards the acidic side. So, in order to move the pH towards the basic side, we have to carefully add the ammonia solution. And while adding the ammonia solution, that is while we are transferring the ammonia solution, after each transfer we have to measure, or we have to quantify, not quantify, we have to qualitatively we looked with the help of a litmus paper whether our pH is getting increased or not. So the purpose of here ammonia here is to just increase the pH of the solution, that is to make the solution alkaline. So here we are using the ammonia solution to make the to achieve an alkaline pH, and the ammonia solution must be added in such a manner that it should not be come in contact with the body, and it should not be inhaled anyhow. It should be added in a very careful manner, and its quantity is not mentioned here because we have to add the ammonia solution in a quantity sufficient so that we can get an alkaline pH. So once we are getting an alkaline pH, or as the pH of the solution gets increases, or as it gets moved from the acidic towards the basic pH, if the iron is present in the sample, we will get a pink color, and the intensity of that particular pink color is directly proportional to the net quantity of iron present in the sample. So likewise, our sixth point is to compare the color which is produced by the net quantity of iron present in the sample with the standard solution. So how we will prepare a standard solution, I will let you know. So this is what the basic steps which are involved for preparation of test solution. So these are the steps from 1 to 6 which we have to adopt in order to prepare the with the test solution for limit test of iron. I again very quickly compile these steps are. The very first step is the preparation of sample as per the procedure given in the monograph. Accordingly, we will prepare a sample, and then we have to add the 40 ml of distilled water. Then we have to add the 2 ml 20% iron-free citric acid to the sample. Then once we are done with the citric acid, further we have to add 2 drops of thioglycolic acid, and further in order to make the content alkaline, we have to add sufficient quantity of ammonia solution. And after adding the ammonia, we have to compare the color which is produced with the color which is produced by the iron present in the test solution with the standard solution. So let us look into how we will prepare the standard solution. So we have to know, or I will let you know how the standard solution is prepared. So the standard solution here means that this particular solution have a color produced by a definite quantity of iron which is within a limit, or the quantity what is present in the standard solution is a permissible limit of impurity. So that particular permissible limit of impurity will be is responsible for the production or evolution of a particular pinkish color, which is then be compared with the test solution in order to determine whether the test solution passes the limit test of iron, or the sample gets failed. So the very first step involved in preparing the standard solution for the limit test of iron is what we have to do. We have to add 2 ml of standard iron solution into the Nessler cylinder. Very first step involved in the limit test of iron for preparing a standard solution is to transfer the 2 ml of standard iron solution. Now this 2 ml of standard iron solution is prepared by adding or mixing 0.173 grams of ferric ammonium sulfate in 1.5 ml of hydrochloric acid. So in order to produce the standard iron solution, what we have to do, we have to weigh out the 0.173 grams of ferric ammonium sulfate and dissolve that particular compound in 1.5 ml of hydrochloric acid. And to this particular content, or when we are mixed and dissolved the 0.173 grams of ferric ammonium sulfate in 1.5 ml of hydrochloric acid, then we have to add 1000 ml of distilled water. Or 1000 ml of distilled water means we have to add the quantity sufficient distilled water in order to have the net final volume of 1000 ml. And this net final volume of 1000 ml is achieved by adding the quantity sufficient distilled water, which will be equals to the 1000 ml, that is the 1 liter. So this is how we have to obtain the standard iron solution, and this particular standard iron solution is the color produced by this particular quantity of iron present in the standard solution will then be compared with the test solution in order to determine the outcome or the final result for the limit test of iron. So likewise the other steps are similar for preparing the standard solution, and these steps are similar with the test solution in order to prepare the standard solution. So in the step 2, what we have to do, in step 2 as we have done in case of this test solution, as we added the 40 ml of distilled water, likewise here in this case also we will add the 40 ml of distilled water. Then once we are done with the step 2, then we have to add 2 ml 20% iron free citric acid. Now the 2 ml 20% iron free citric acid is added to the standard solution, and here the 2 ml is the volume or the quantity of the citric acid, and the 20% is its strength. So this is the net quantity and the strength of the citric acid which we have to add to the standard solution. And the citric acid, whatever we are using in the limit test of iron, that must be free from iron. That is, the citric acid should not contains any iron, and if a citric acid or any other reagent which ultimately contains iron, and if used in the limit test of iron, this will ultimately interfere with the final outcome or the result, as I discussed earlier while explaining the procedural detail for the test solution. So once we are done with the iron free citric acid, what we have to do, we have to add the 2 drops of thioglycolic acid, and while adding the thioglycolic acid, sufficient precaution has to be taken, because the thioglycolic acid have a very irritating type smell, and it is having a very sharp smell, and also it is an acid, so that particular thing should not be come in direct contact with the person who is ultimately performing this particular limit test is. So once we are done with the step 3, then we have to move to the step 4, that is, which I earlier also I have explained here. What we have to do, we have to add 2 drops of thioglycolic acid. Now after adding the 2 drops of thioglycolic acid, the next step is we have to add the ammonia solution quantity sufficient to make the content alkaline. So this is the 5th step is also similar to to the same step which I also mentioned here in case of the preparation of test solution for the limit test of iron, and as you can here see that both the steps are similar. So we here also add the ammonia, adding the ammonia solution to make the content alkaline, and why we are and the quantity, then the quantity is not mentioned here, and the same is also true for the test solution also, where I have not mentioned the quantity, because whatever the content of ammonia solution which has to be added here, it must be sufficient in order to make or in order to increase the pH of the solution, or to make the content, that is the standard solution, towards an alkaline pH. So we have to add accordingly the ammonia solution in order to make the content alkaline, or we have to increase its pH anyhow. So once we are done with the step 5, the final step is to compare the color produced by the standard with the sample. So here also, as this standard solution is having a particular quantity of iron which is present here, so according to the quantity of iron which is within a permissible limit, which is present in the iron solution, will ultimately be responsible for producing a definite color, and that color is then be compared with the test solution in order to determine the outcome. So here also, once we will make the standard solution alkaline, so we will get a definite color, that is a pink color, and this particular color is then be compared, and the color produced by this standard solution is then be compared with the test solution in order to determine the outcome or of our outcome of the limit test for iron. So this is how we will make that standard solution, and this is how ultimately a standard solution is prepared, and this standard solution and the color is produced by the standard solution is then compared with the test solution in order to determine the net outcome or the overall outcome for the limit test of iron. So theoretically as well as the practically also, if the color produced by the test solution is similar, or it is comparable, or it is the same as that of standard solution, then the sample passes the limit test. Likewise, if the test solution, the color produced by the test solution is less than the color produced by the standard solution, in this case also the sample passes the limit test. I'm sorry. Sorry again. So if the test solution have a color intensity less than that of standard, the sample passes the limit test. And if the test solution have a color intensity which is equal to the standard solution, then in such case also the test solution passes the limit test, because in both the cases the impurity or the iron present in the test solution is well within a permissible limit according to the color produced and compared with the standard solution. However, in a case where the test solution or the what it is said to be, if a color produced by the test solution is more than a standard solution, so in such a case, as I said earlier also, the color produced by the test solution or the color produced by both the test solution and the standard solution is directly proportional to the intensity or the degree of color so produced, and hence in such a case where the test solution have a greater intensity of color as compared to the standard solution, so here the test solution or the sample will fails the limit test of iron. So this is how ultimately we will prepare the test solution and the standard solution, as well as interpret the final outcome which ultimately in a case for the limit test of iron.